Hey everyone, so today we're going to dig into something really fascinating, a real paradox in the world of aesthetic medicine. We're talking about why a supposedly perfect cosmetic procedure can, well, still leave you feeling totally unhappy. And as we're about to see, the answer is way more than just skin deep. Let's get right into it.
This is a question I think a lot of us have maybe even quietly asked ourselves, right? You do everything by the book. You do all the research. You find the best doctor. The procedure itself goes off without a single hitch. And yet, there's that nagging feeling, that sense of, is that it? Well, what we're going to find out is that real lasting satisfaction, it often comes from a place that no needle can ever reach.
All right, first up, let's really unpack this whole idea of the unhappy outcome. What happens when we look beyond just the physical fix?
Okay, so here's the first big takeaway from the research we're looking at. Aesthetic medicine, it's just not about changing how you look on the outside. You can have a result that is technically flawless, absolutely perfect, but it can still feel like a total failure if those deeper reasons for wanting it in the first place, the why behind the whole thing, if those aren't addressed. It turns out, real satisfaction is almost always hidden way beneath the surface.
And this right here, this is so important because it really gets into the invisible forces that are at play. Think about it. You've got the crazy pressure from unrealistic social media ideals. You've got that whiplash from trying to chase every single new trend. Or maybe it's just the constant high level of stress we're all under. Any of these things can totally sabotage how happy you feel with the results. And the source material makes this really clear. The real battle, it's not being fought on our skin. It's happening in our minds.
And that brings us right to the core idea of this whole explainer. It's a concept that's actually really simple, but also pretty profound. And it's this: your skin is a mirror.
Now, to really get this, we've got to talk about one key term, and that's psychosomatic. I know, it sounds kind of fancy, but it's a really simple idea. It just means that our mental state, our stress, our anxieties, all those feelings we don't talk about, can actually show up as very real physical symptoms in our bodies.
And this quote, wow, it just nails the point perfectly. What's so powerful about this is that this isn't some fringe, new agey concept. No, this is something that's recognized right in the heart of medicine itself. Your skin is literally a billboard, showing the world exactly what's going on inside your whole system.
But you might be asking, why the skin specifically? Well, just think about it. It's your body's biggest and maybe its most honest organ. The study we're looking at points out that because our skin is so visible, it's often the very first place that any internal psychological distress sends up a flare for help, way before other symptoms might even start to whisper that something's not right.
So this whole process has a name. It's called somatization. And here's the easiest way to think about it. When we can't find the words or we don't have an outlet to express our emotional pain, our body sometimes just takes over. It expresses that pain for us, and a lot of the time, it does it with physical signs, right there on our skin.
And the source actually breaks this down into two main categories, which is super helpful. So on one side, you've got what's called psychogenic dermatosis. That's when the skin problem is the main symptom of a mental disorder. Then on the other side, you have psychosomatic dermatosis. This is a little different. It's when a skin condition you already have, say eczema, gets triggered or just made way worse by psychological stress.
Okay, so we've established that there is a connection, right? But the big question is, how? How does this actually work on a biological level? Well, this next part is going to break down exactly how stress physically changes your skin.
So it all starts with this crazy chain reaction. First, some kind of stressor hits. Your brain's command center, the hypothalamus, it basically sounds the alarm. That sends an order to the pituitary gland to get to work, which then signals your adrenal glands. And boom, the adrenals unleash this flood of hormones, things like adrenaline, that shove your body into fight or flight mode. And that emergency state, it creates a ton of inflammation, which, you guessed it, can wreak absolute havoc on your skin.
And what does that chaos actually look like in the real world? Well, the study links this stress response to a whole list of very real, very visible skin conditions. We're talking about everything from acne and rosacea all the way to more serious issues like psoriasis and even hair loss. The impact is it's undeniable.
And if you need just one powerful number to drive this whole point home, here you go. According to the research, a staggering 70%, 70, of atopic dermatitis cases get worse because of stressful situations. That number is it's a huge, flashing sign of how incredibly powerful this mind-skin connection really is. So, okay, if the problem is clearly more than skin deep, then it only makes sense that the solution has to be too. And that brings us to a much more integrated, a more holistic way of looking at treatment.
The study really pushes for what it calls a holistic vision. And the idea behind it is so simple, but it's also incredibly powerful. You just can't treat one part of a person like it's in a vacuum, completely disconnected from everything else. Our minds, our bodies, even our environment, they're all connected. So to really truly heal the skin, you have to look at the whole person.
So what does that look like in practice? It means supporting medical treatments with other therapies that actually get to the root of the psychological stuff. The source suggests things like acupuncture, foot reflexology, massage therapy, aromatherapy. And look, these aren't meant to replace medical care, not at all. Instead, think of them as powerful allies, tools to help manage the stress and anxiety that are fueling the skin problems to begin with.
All right, so we're getting to the end here. What is the big takeaway from all this? What's the true path to success and real satisfaction?
You know, I think this quote from the study's conclusion just says it all. It is of little use to treat the facade while the internal structure is rotten or in the process of becoming so. I mean, wow, what a powerful analogy. It's so direct, right? It's basically saying it's pointless to just paint the outside of a house if the foundation is crumbling. And that's the bottom line. Lasting success, it's not an either-or thing. It's not mind or body. It has to be a balanced, synchronized restoration of both our internal psychological well-being and our external physical appearance. According to the source, that's the only way to find a true solution.
Which kind of leaves us all with one final question to think about, right? In this world that is so focused on the quick fix, on the external results, is your approach to beauty and wellness really truly treating the whole person? Mind and body, inside and out? Definitely something to chew on. Thanks so much for joining me for this.